Hello frag friends, and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing, review, and first impression. I've got two fragrances in here. In fact, this is the two that I thought, if you watched my Versace Oud Noir video, these are the two fragrances that I thought I was unwrapping and opening that day. And this is from Perfume Mart is how it's listed on the box, but I believe it was perfumeonline.ca, so a Canadian-based website. A lot of folks is familiar with fragrancebuy.ca. I think I have bought from them before. I know I've checked their prices a lot. This is the first time I have bought from perfumeonline.ca. So here is their inside of their box. They've got good packaging, and I'm going to pull out our two fragrances, and we'll go from there. No goodies inside, so a lot of times companies will send you, some samples and things of that nature. Nothing inside this box other than our fragrances, but that's fine. That's what we bought. So what we have here today is Mercedes-Benz Club Black, which I think on my Versace Oud Noir video I called Bentley Club Black, but this is the fragrance I was talking about. You can see it's a 3.4 ounce tester. And then we have a Just Jack fragrance, which I had seen Ash at Gent Sense do a review for. I'd also seen Max Forte do a really positive review. Ash's review was, he was just kind of middle of the road. Max was very complimentary of this house and this particular fragrance. Is Ombre Suede, which is a Tom Ford Ombre leather clone. So let's do the Mercedes-Benz Club Black first because I have smelled it. And look, I am just tired of totally blind buying fragrances. One of the reasons why I sell decants is because I got so burnt out blind buying fragrances based off of reviewers' rave reviews and then getting them and not liking them at all, that I myself started buying decants and thought, well, I've got a lot of fragrances. I'm never going to be able to wear them all. Why don't I, decant out, half of my bottles, try to wear the other half. Maybe I'll make enough money to pay for the bottles. When you go on my eBay store, nothing is priced to profit, really. Once you buy the glass atomizer bottles, and like this right here, this is a Ferragamo F Black. It's going out to a customer today. Once you buy the bottles and you buy the packaging, I send all my stuff out in black padded envelopes. I bubble wrap them. I tape the tops. I tape the inside so that there's no leakage. I bubble wrap the bottles, then shrink wrap them, then put them inside a padded envelope. By the time you do all that, you're not making any money. At least I'm not, because I'm just trying to sell them again to kind of recoup some of the money on all these bottles of fragrances. But so anyways, I said that to say this. I had bought a sample of Mercedes-Benz Club Black, and I liked it. It is cold weather here in Arkansas. If you can't tell, I'm from the South. I know you could tell that I was being facetious. But anyways, I wanted another cold weather fragrance. And this one to me was in the category of Spice Bomb Extreme. I have the original Amen by Terry Mugler, which I really like. A lot of people don't like that rubbery tar note. I don't know, I just like it. And then I've got the Cremo Spice, Black Vanilla and Spice and Black Vanilla, I believe is what it's called, which is my by far most watched video. Not sure why that a Cremo fragrance is, but that video's got well over 1,000 views. You know, I've got a few videos with 200 or 300 views, and then a bunch of videos with hardly any views. So while I'm saying that, please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. Smallest fragrance review channel on YouTube. We're just getting started, and picked up a high-profile subscriber with yesterday's video on Zaharoff's Signature Pour Homme. If you haven't, if you don't own that, that one is probably worthy of a blind buy. There's a few fragrances that are, but the majority of them are not. So, Mercedes-Benz is an amber fragrance. It's a really nice blended, smooth amber fragrance. It has the vanilla, the tonka, I believe it is. Let me pull up the notes here. What I smell, first of all, is you just smell that warmth of the vanilla and the amber. It is resinous, it is warm, it is inviting, it is alluring, it is subtly sweet, it's not overly sweet. It's a slightly smoky. So the top note is bergamot. There's not much citrus. It does not have a big citrus opening. There is incense and jasmine in the middle. You can smell the smokiness of that incense. There is a slight floral nature that jasmine brings in. It's subtle, but mainly what you're getting, it says it's got ambroxan and woodsy notes. The ambroxan here is way toned back. I guess they put it to make it kind of project and jump off your skin a little bit. But don't think that this is an ambroxan heavy fragrance. To me, it's not. There's the benzoin, which is I guess the amber notes, the ambroxan, you know, which to my understanding is like a synthetic ambergris. It's kind of ambery, but that benzoin, vanilla combination that you get in so many fragrances like these, this one's right in there. It's just a great cold weather fragrance. It's warm, it's inviting, it's sweet. There's no leather mentioned in the note breakdown on Fragrantica, but I can smell a leather accord in there. So if you like warm, inviting, vanilla, vanilla, sweet, alluring, you know, an unspicy version of Spice Bomb Extreme, Mercedes-Benz Club Black is an excellent choice. Now, and so I put these up here to kind of show you what you can kind of compare it to, and I named some others. Now, Just Jack Ombre Suede. So I guess we're going to be doing a first impression on it. And I'll just tell you, I don't own Tom Ford Ombre leather. I have owned a Tom Ford fragrance before. In fact, it was a Tom Ford fragrance that got me super interested in fragrances. That was the recent fragrance. Now, my dad being a door-to-door perfume salesman when I was growing up, and then he passed away, and now I'm, remembering him, and that helped to get me in it. But I was in the airport in Seoul, South Korea. I was flying with my oldest son to do some mission work in the Philippines, and I went to the big perfume store inside that airport. If you've ever been there, it's a really big, just nice perfume store. I had no idea. I had watched maybe a couple of maybe a Jeremy Fragrance video, maybe a Demi Rawling video or so. I only owned pretty much at the time Sauvage and Acqua di Gio Profumo. That was pretty much what I owned at the time. And just by chance, I didn't know who Tom Ford was. I'd never heard of it before, but I just walked up, I saw a bottle that interested me. It was Tom Ford Gray Vetiver. I smelled it. It was the only one in the whole store I smelled, because as soon as I smelled it, I loved it and I wanted it. And so I bought a bottle there because I didn't know anything about, it was a duty-free store. And so I thought, well, this is probably the cheapest place to get this. So I bought it. Come back. I loved it. My wife hated it. She thought it was very feminine. Said it smelled like a grandma. My wife's so funny. She pretty much everything smells like a grandma to her. The reason why I wear Sauvage still to this day is because she likes the way it smells on me. But anyways, I said all that to say this. That is the only Tom Ford fragrance that I have ever had, other than I have a decant of Neroli Portofino. So I don't know what Ombre leather smells like. So I'm not comparing this to Ombre leather, other than I have the notes pulled up here. So I can tell you if I get a similar vibe, and I think I will, because again, Max Forte, and I don't know if you're supposed to face your atomizer towards the label or not. Somebody in the comments let me know. Seems like every time I get a fragrance, it's not, but it may be my, just weirdness, but I like them to face that way. It's got a nice citrusy opening. Let me see what's in it, what it's supposed to be. So it is a leather fragrance, obviously, for it's unisex, women and men, 2018 launch. So I'll tell you what, before I even look at the notes, I'm going to tell you what I think I smell in the top. Definitely some citruses. Okay, now that the alcohol is kind of backing off a little bit, to me, there's definitely some tobacco in here. And then leather, strong leather note. Some spices, probably some pepper, maybe some cardamom or some, it's not really nutmeg, it's not really, I don't know. All right, citrusy. The very first blast was very citrus heavy, and then it immediately started drying down, and a leather and tobacco note comes shooting forth with some spices in it. So let's see what is supposed to be in Ombre leather. So absolutely no citruses, according again to Fragrantica. And I don't know how reliable Fragranica's note breakdowns are. I guess it would be better to pull it up from Tom Ford's website. But it has top notes as just cardamom, which is a spice. Then has leather, jasmine, which is obviously a flower, amber, moss, and patchouli. Doesn't mention tobacco. And it may just be the leather note. To me, sometimes I can mistake how would I describe it? Maybe a more dry, raw leather as a tobacco note, especially if you mix moss in with it. And patchouli too, even though patchouli doesn't really smell like tobacco, but it's just that green, earthy. So that may be what I'm smelling. Or Just Jack Ombre Suede may have, a tobacco note in it, because again, this is Ombre Suede. But so here's what I'm going to say. I don't own Ombre leather. I don't know if it smells just like it or doesn't smell like it at all. But this is a good smelling fragrance. And again, to me, there's got to be a little bit of tobacco in there. I do think it is the type of leather that they went with, which is not my style of leather. I like a real soft, supple, smooth leather. To me, this smells like you know, like a leather belt. Like, have you ever been to, you know, a place where, like Gatlinburg or Branson, where you've got a leather smith in there and he's cutting raw leather. It's smooth on one side, where he, you know, embosses your name or embosses, you know, this real intricate design. But on the other side, it's kind of, you know, rough. It's you know, I don't know how they do that, if they're sanding it or what, but it's the raw part. To me, this leather has more of that raw nature to it. Of course, I don't edit my videos. I kind of do these point of view, and I kind of do them all in one take, so I don't have time to get the dry down. If that gets better to me, I will come back and do a full review of that. But anyways, I think it's a fine fragrance. It smells well made. It smells like it's got decent, you know, it definitely is not Tom Ford in regards to quality, but it's a good smelling leather fragrance. Not my cup of tea, not my type of leather, but if you like a more dry, raw leather, you'll probably love it, because it's what it smells like. So, okay, we went on long enough. I appreciate everybody watching my videos and subscribing to the channel. And I've just recently rebranded the YouTube channel to Proverbs 27:9 Fragrances, which says ointment and perfume, rejoice the heart. And the rest of that verse says pretty much like a good friend does with godly counsel. And that's what I like about the fragrance community. Good fragrances, good friends. Frag on, friends. We'll see you down the road. Have a great day. God bless.